Democracy we can't trust.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at noon.
And right now at noon, Reverend Jesse Jackson is lying in repose as thousands of people gather to say goodbye. And taking a live look outside right now, the sun is out and the temperatures are quickly on the rise. We are in for a stunner today, but how long will this last? Caitlin is here to tell us. As we say good afternoon, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at noon. I'm Anthony Pulse. Thousands of people from all walks of life are remembering the legacy of civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Let's take a live look inside Rainbow Push headquarters right now, where dozens of people are there paying their respects. The civil rights leader died at age 84 last week. And today, Brian Jackson spoke to mourners about the impact that Reverend Jackson had on their lives.
Today, the city of Chicago is getting their chance to say one of their final goodbyes to one of the most iconic civil rights leaders of our entire generation. Of course, we're speaking of Jesse Jackson. For many here today in line, this is more than a viewing. It was personal. Jackson wasn't just a national figure, he was a Chicago institution.
Well, you know, I think he really pretty much like put Chicago on the map in a way, you know, with his work with Dr. King. And, you know, sometimes Chicago gets a bad rap. I mean, let's really be honest. But, I mean, I think Jesse Jackson brought so much positivity to the city of Chicago.
What are you going to remember most about Reverend Jackson's legacy?
The way he was trying to teach everyone to be righteous. Be good, be godly.
What was that feeling when you saw Drexel Avenue just lined with people getting ready to pay their respects to Reverend Jackson?
I was very proud to realize that people appreciated him and remember him and what he have done.
A lot of emotion to finally see a great man have his rest. He's earned his rest. He served his purpose on this planet, and we're grateful that we had him here.
You know, Reverend Jackson used to say this on the broadcast. He would say, you know, support Push before Push has to show up for you. And Reverend Jackson pushed his body, pushed his heart to the limits, and he gave the world everything he had within him. And I think that showing up is an example of that, testament of that. It's time for us to show up and serve like Reverend, to hold his memory so true, to be so valuable. The question now becomes, what prophetic voice are we going to use? What hands are we going to lift for those who are beneath, and how are we going to change and speak truth to power?
Now, many here today said that this responsibility to move things forward now comes down to the next generation. Reporting outside of the Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters, Brian Jackson, Fox Chicago.
Reverend Jackson touched lives all across the world, including that of Pastor Reginald Sharp Jr., and he joined Good Day Chicago to reflect on Jesse Jackson's legacy and how people can continue to honor it.
That Reverend Jackson is one of the few men who become a symbol. All men and women don't become symbols, but when a man or a woman becomes a symbol of hope, a symbol of resilience, a symbol of compassion, we owe them not just to stop at admiration. We have to move to action. We owe them not just to build memorials of them, but we owe them to carry on the momentum of the movement. And so as long as Chicago, all leaders, all politicians catch his spirit, that Rainbow Coalition is more than a pen, is more than a name, is more than an organization. It is an ideal that it takes all of us to make this democracy work. It takes all of us to make this world beautiful.
On Monday, Reverend Jackson will lie in honor at the South Carolina State House, and then there will be a formal service in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Next Friday, the public homegoing service will be held at House of Hope on East 114th Street, and then a private service will be held at Rainbow Push headquarters the following day. Okay, let's give you a live look outside right now. Little haze in the air there. It's been a foggy one so far this morning, but Caitlin, we are warming up nicely.
Yeah, temperatures are climbing. We're in the 50s now. It's going to be a gusty day today, but my goodness, it is beautiful. Looking at our current temperatures in Chicagoland, we have a range. Low 50s at the lakefront. Right now, it's only 52 degrees there, but 55 at O'Hare, 60 in Joliet and in Morris, 60 at LaSalle. Northwest Indiana temperatures are ranging from the low to upper 50s. It's 57 degrees in Gary right now. So the temperatures are already climbing. I do expect the low 60s today, but the wind, it's coming in out of the south and gusting up to almost 30 miles per hour for some currently. I'm seeing 29 miles per hour at O'Hare as well as in Aurora, 26 miles per hour at Midway. So these gusts could be around 30 to 35 miles per hour throughout the afternoon. But our day planner is perfect. Highs, as mentioned, in the low 60s. Even at 4 o'clock, we have partly cloudy skies and 60 degrees. By 7:55. But enjoy this because we have a wind shift coming. Of course we do. And this weekend, winter is back. Chicago tomorrow, our high temperature will be right around 35 degrees. Now we have the chance for some snow in the afternoon, even until I would say early overnight, Saturday night. Mostly going to be north of the city, right along that Wisconsin border. That's where you could see some snow. Sunday, during the day, quiet. 31 is our high, so very chilly. But then Sunday night, we have the chance for snow again into early Monday. But that round of snow is expected to be south of the city, so you may be waking up to some snowfall south of Chicago. In the meantime today, as Anthony mentioned, we had fog this morning. Now we're moving into the afternoon with sunshine and gusty winds and mild temperatures. A full check of your 7-day forecast is coming up.
Okay, Caitlin, we'll check back in with you shortly. Thank you. A man is facing charges in connection to a deadly shooting right outside of Jewel Osco on the city's south side. This happened on Tuesday right near South Ashland and West 94th Street. 26-year-old Bobby Martin is now charged with first-degree murder. He is expected in court today. Police say he and the victim knew one another. That person has not yet been identified. Police in Crown Point, Indiana want you to be on the lookout for this vehicle right there on your screen. It's a silver Buick Encore. They believe it was involved in a road rage incident that led to a hit and run. It happened 3:15 Thursday on Joliet Street, just blocks away from Colonel John Wheeler Middle School. Officers say 2 drivers were arguing when they pulled into a parking lot. One of the men got out, the other hit him and then sped away. Police are asking people in the area to see if their Ring camera might have caught that moment. And Chicago Public Schools is extending summer breaks for the next 2 school years. The Board of Education approved the calendars last night, so the schedule expands summer break after last year's were cut to 67 days because of the Democratic National Convention. This year, kids will get 81 days. The school year will start August 24th and run through June 11th. It begins August 23rd and ends on June 9th the following year. Meantime, CPS says it's moving students out of the Aspira Charter School network and into other district schools for the rest of this school year. This move affects about 500 high schoolers, and it doesn't mean that Aspira's charter is going away, but CPS says Aspira does not have enough money to make it through the end of this school year. CPS has sent a notice out to parents saying, "We understand that changing schools mid-semester is far from ideal, particularly for our 12th grade students who are in their final few months of high school. Please note that CPS will be here to support you throughout the transition if you choose to move forward with moving your student to another school." All right, it is 12:08. We have more news coming up for you after this break. Former President Bill Clinton is testifying about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein just one day after his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, faced lawmakers.
Not
Welcome back. At the last NFL Combine, no one was quite sure how the Bears season would play out. They had a new head coach, Caleb Williams, coming off a rocky season. Well, this time, the Bears are coming off a division title and a playoff victory. Cassie Carlson is live down in Indianapolis at the NFL Combine with what is next for the team. Cassie, I understand the NFLPA report cards have been leaked. Let's hear about how the Bears did on these report cards.
All right, so they're right in the middle of the pack of the NFL. Their overall rank is 13th, but they break it down into a ton of different categories. So there's treatment of families, they get a C+, home field game turf, C. Then you go to things like position coaches, B-, offensive coordinator, who was Declan Doyle and left for the Baltimore Ravens last year, C-. The interesting one is defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, got a C+. Richard Hightower, special teams coordinator, B-. Head coach Ben Johnson, to no one's surprise, got an A, and general manager, along with team ownership, both got A-. So the Bears right in the middle of the pack, right in the middle of everyone else in the NFL. But it's so interesting because you can compare how all the other teams fare. Steelers didn't do too well. Arizona Cardinals didn't do too well, which is typical for that organization. And when you look at the Green Bay Packers, their head coach, Matt LaFleur, got a B-, which came to surprise for a lot of people, but maybe that's hinting at how some players are feeling about their head coach.
Hey, so what have you been so far this week, having been down there for a few days now, what have you learned about the team and their outlook for this coming season, Cassie?
Well, as you mentioned, coming into this segment, the questions that the Bears have had around the quarterback position in years prior to the Combine, they don't have to worry about them anymore. If anything, Ryan Poles has to worry about paying Caleb Williams in a couple of years a lot of money, and that's going to put even more cap constraints on the team. But right now, they're just in a different position. They have a late pick in the first round, drafting 25th overall. Ryan Poles said that they are going to draft best player available when it comes to that pick. And then you're looking at the areas of need, and he feels like the deep classes at position groups in this year's draft class align with their needs. And one that comes to mind is edge rusher. So they're probably looking at a lot of the edge guys as they try to decipher basically if they want to draft a young edge rusher and develop him, keep him on a cheaper contract, or if they're going to be in the market for potentially trade for one. And Max Crosby has been the buzz name around the Combine this year because he has a big contract. He's in Vegas. They have a new head coach, and he has not been on a winning team. And that's someone who could be a difference maker on any team. And so that's what everyone's kind of trying to decipher right now. Will he be the first big trade to fall that will kind of open up the rest of free agency? The other things we have learned is that to get under the cap, they are basically telling Tremaine Edmonds he can seek a trade, but if they don't find a trade partner, that they are going to cut him in a couple of weeks to free up that $15 million. And so that's kind of the start of everything. So a little bit more quiet on the Bears side. Tyson Bagent, their backup quarterback, has been in some trade talks, and then quarterbacks are speaking today. And the interesting thing is that Cole Payton out of North Dakota State University had a formal meeting with the Bears. So maybe that is a sign that the Bears are trying to trade Tyson Bagent, get a former undrafted free agent, and turn him into some draft picks because it is considered to be a down quarterback draft class.
Wow. Yeah, not surprised there's interest in Bagent. Okay, Cassie Carlson, thank you for the update from down in Indy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right, let's take a live look outside back here in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful day. Caitlin, this is perfect for a Friday.
It's Friday.
Love it.
Anthony's going to go get some lunch outside, I think, after this.
You know it.
It's beautiful. We got blue sky. We have the bright blue Lake Michigan on this camera behind me. It's stunning. Temperatures, they're pushing into the 50s, and now I'm starting to see some 60s out there, too. So let's check in on the temps first. Then we'll talk about the gusty wind. Then we'll talk about the snow potential this weekend. So first of all, our map does show a range of 53 degrees at the lakefront, 260 at LaSalle, as well as in Morris, 59 in Kankakee. Northwest Indiana, it's 53 for you in Valpo, 52 at Michigan City, and 57 in Gary. So the temperatures, they're climbing nicely, and I do expect the upper 50s and low 60s as our high today. But the wind, it's gusting to about 30 miles per hour currently at O'Hare and Aurora, 26 miles per hour at Midway. But that wind is coming in out of the south, which is nice. But talking about the wind over the next 12 hours, it's going to continue to be strong through the afternoon. Really not until we reach the evening hours of about 7 or 8 is when those winds will be backing off to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Here's your futurecast, though. Let's take you through the rest of your afternoon because it is going to be lovely. 4:15 and temperatures are ranging still in the upper 50s to mid 60s. I even see an upper 60 there at LaSalle. 7 o'clock and temperatures are back down to the mid 50s for many of us, but it is still a quiet evening. And then overnight tonight into early tomorrow, temperatures are hovering at about 40 before 24. We drop down into the 20s by 7:30 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is going to be a colder day. Highs are only going to be in the 30s, and we have the chance for some snowfall. This is 11:30. So as we head towards lunchtime hour, starting to see some snow appear, especially north of the city, especially along the Wisconsin border. But 2:45, and we still have widespread precipitation throughout Chicagoland. So be aware that this weekend we have the chance for snow after this beautiful day today. We'll take a look at your extended forecast, including the warmer temperatures that are expected in the outlook ahead coming up. Anthony.
Okay, very good. Caitlin, we'll see you shortly. Thank you. Happening right now, former President Bill Clinton is testifying in unprecedented closed-door deposition over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. His wife, Hillary, told lawmakers yesterday she did not know Epstein, but photos and flight logs tell a different story for Bill. Rebecca Castor has more now from Washington.
Today, it's Bill Clinton's turn to testify under oath in the House Oversight Committee's Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And with photos like this included in the files, lawmakers have plenty of questions.
Yesterday, Ms. Clinton deferred a lot of questions to her husband today. We already had a big portfolio of questions for him, and that increased yesterday.
It's extremely rare for a former or sitting president to testify before Congress. Bill Clinton will be the first to do so in 40 years. But Democrats hope it will set a new precedent and make it difficult for Republicans to explain why they're not deposing President Trump, whose name is also included in the files.
We're demanding immediately that we ask President Trump to testify in front of our committee.
We asked specifically the victims if the president was involved, and they exonerated him. So why would we bring in the president of the United States, who's been exonerated?
And yet, after 6 hours of questioning Hillary Clinton Thursday, lawmakers appear no closer to understanding how Epstein got away with his sex crimes for decades.
I answered every one of their questions. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him.
She was unhinged, and I hope that President Clinton is less unhinged today than his wife was yesterday.
Bill Clinton is also expected to tell lawmakers he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. And while flight logs show he used his plane, there is no clear evidence he went to the island. Bill Clinton is testifying behind closed doors, but the transcript and video will be released in a matter of days. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox Chicago.
The FAA temporarily closed airspace near El Paso after a U.S. military laser mistakenly shot down a Customs and Border Protection drone. Officials say it is the second counter-drone incident in the area in recent weeks. Though commercial flights were not affected here, members of Congress are raising concerns about coordination or lack thereof between federal agencies as the incident highlights issues over drone activity along the southern border. Meantime, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says unrest sparked by the death of notorious cartel leader El Mencho has stabilized. The violence prompted a mass exodus of tourists, but with the situation getting under control, those who remained now say they are in no rush to leave.
Since we were planning to stay for quite a while, we think, we're going to stick it out, and we're not really trying to get out right away.
Local officials are assessing the damage after dozens of businesses and homes were destroyed by cartel attacks. New video has surfaced in the search for Nancy Guthrie. This footage was captured on a Ring camera at a home nearby, and it shows 12 cars passing between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. on the morning of February 1st. That's the day that Guthrie disappeared. Some of the activity took place right around 2:30 a.m., which was roughly the same time authorities say the 84-year-old's pacemaker device last synced up with her phone. So the Pima County Sheriff's Department says it is going to be limiting public updates in the search for Guthrie going forward here. The FBI also says it has moved some of its Guthrie operations up to its Phoenix office. Authorities plan to return the Tucson home to the Guthrie family after doing a final sweep of that property. They say parking bans and no trespassing orders will remain in place. All right, we have more news just ahead for us here on the Fox 32 News at Noon. We'll be right back after this break. Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon.
on Fox.
All right, we've all seen the memes. You know you're old when you start bird watching. Well, joke's on you kids. A new study suggests that avid bird watchers have better cognitive skills. All right, so the hobby reportedly sharpens memory and reduces the risk of dementia. Researchers tested the memories of local bird experts compared with the memories of other outdoorsmen who did activities like fishing and hiking. The avid bird watchers were much more detail-oriented than the other group. So bird away, boomers. Bird away, Gen X. Don't have any shame about it. All right, the results of a new genetic analysis are unlocking some secrets to the past. They are revealing more about the connections between Neanderthals and modern humans. Marianne Rafferty takes a closer look.
Scientists say new research is helping to give us a better understanding about our past. Going back tens of thousands of years, scientists say Neanderthals, an extinct species of early human relatives, once lived in similar regions as many modern-day people.
Most modern humans today, except for people from sub-Saharan Africa, have a couple % ancestry from Neanderthals. And all of this Neanderthal ancestry is the result of interbreeding between early modern humans and Neanderthals.
But researchers wanted to uncover more about these early matches and unlocked secrets with the help from a new genetic analysis.
While we have a fair amount of Neanderthal ancestry spread throughout most of our chromosomes, don't really have much on our X chromosomes.
When it comes to human biological sex chromosomes, females typically have 2 X chromosomes, while males have 1 X and 1 Y. If more human females mated with Neanderthal males over thousands of years, experts say you would see less Neanderthal DNA in human X chromosomes. And that's exactly what they discovered.
And it shows that whenever Neanderthals and modern humans have mated, there's been a preference for male Neanderthals and female modern humans as opposed to the other way around.
But while researchers have identified these mating preferences, figuring out why they came to be remains a mystery. I'm Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
people.
All right, welcome back. Here's a quick look at some of the top stories we are following for you here at noon. Family, friends, and strangers are remembering the legacy of civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson. Today is day 2 of visitation services for Jackson. On Monday of next week, Reverend Jackson will lie in honor at the South Carolina State House, and there will be a formal service in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. We have a full list of all the funeral arrangements on our website, fox32chicago.com. All right, let's take a live look over the skyline on this Friday. Caitlin, I can't wait to get outside after my shift is over here and enjoy some of these warm late February temperatures.
I'm going to trip running out of here, I think. It is stunning outside. We've got blue sky, sunshine, warm temperatures, a little bit of a wind. Yeah, it's a bit gusty out there today, but we have to soak it in because this weekend winter is back. So we get today, and then this weekend we're back to the 30s with a chance for snow in Chicagoland. Here are your weather headlines. Number 1, nice and windy. I said that already. We're going to have winds around 30 to 35 miles per hour at times, but temperatures in the 30s this weekend with that potential for snow Saturday, mostly north, Sunday, mostly south, really Sunday night. So again, we have to prep ourselves because we are going to be settling into this beautiful afternoon, and then this weekend we have to get out the winter stuff again. Satellite radar this early afternoon showing how beautiful it is. Just a few fair weather clouds out there, especially from Chicago points north, I-88 points north. South, it's completely clear from Kankakee to LaSalle to Jasper and Newton counties, Lake and Porter County in northwest Indiana. Temperatures are ranging from 56 degrees at the lakefront to 55 at O'Hare, 61 from Joliet to Morris. Northwest Indiana, you're looking at 53 in Valpo, but 57 in Gary. Winds. This is what we have currently, around 30 miles per hour from O'Hare to Aurora, 16 miles per hour at the lakefront, 26 miles per hour at Midway. The wind is coming in out of the south, but that is going to make it feel a touch cooler than it actually is outside. But still no complaints because this is what we expect to be our high, right around 60 from O'Hare to 63 in Aurora, 66 at LaSalle. Fantastic. Northwest Indiana temperatures for you mostly in the low 60s today. Tonight we're dropping down to the 20s and 30s. 33 expected to be our low at the lakefront, 30 at O'Hare, 29 in Aurora, 27 in DeKalb. And tomorrow highs in the mid to upper 30s. A few of us in the low 40s southwest. So it is going to be a chilly Saturday. Let's take a look at the timing of this wet weather that I have been teasing. So first of all, this afternoon, you can see all of these wind barbs. It is going to be gusty on through the evening. Then things slowly start to calm down, but the wind will start to shift. And notice tomorrow, that breeze is coming in out of the northwest. As it does so, it's going to be pulling in that cold air, and then we have the chance for some snow. So scattered light snow showers are expected from Chicago points north. I should say not light. We're going to have the opportunity for drops in visibility during this snowfall too. But even into the afternoon, 1:45, we still have that chance for scattered precipitation. And then on Sunday, most of the day will be dry with the chance for some snow, especially late and especially south of Chicago as we head on into early next week on Monday morning. 7-day forecast. Temperatures right around 31 degrees on Sunday. Monday's high right around 39. Then we have the chance for some scattered showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, chance for scattered rain. Temperatures are going to be improving, though. 43 expected by Tuesday, Wednesday 46, and then 51 by Thursday. Anthony.
Okay, thank you so much, Caitlin. Appreciate it. Well, everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days, right? And that includes parking. Casey Cronus is live in Rosemont with a change that some shoppers are not going to be too happy about, Casey.
That's right, Anthony. Shoppers who frequent the fashion outlets of Chicago here in Rosemont know and love the fact that parking has always been completely free, but that is no more. Effective immediately, shoppers get the first hour free with validation from guest services. They can get up to 3 hours free if they spend $100 and have their ticket validated. Without validation, parking will cost $13 for 1 to 3 hours, $20 for 3 to 12 hours, and $50 for 12 to 24 hours. A spokesperson for the mall's owner, Macerich, tells us this will prioritize shoppers and discourage people from using the lot for overnight parking, events, and airport travel. We just got on the ground here about 30 minutes ago, so we're going to head over and chat with shoppers to get their take on this. Tune in to hear their thoughts coming up at 4 and 5. Back to you.
Hey, Casey, thank you very much. SpaceX was going to be
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Okay, that was SpaceX launching a Falcon 9 rocket this morning in Florida, sending 29 more Starlink satellites into orbit. It is the 30th flight for that reusable booster, helping grow the Texas-based company's global broadband network, now spanning much of the planet. All right, tensions are brewing between the U.S. and Cuba as we learn more about investigations into the deadly strike on a Florida registered vessel this week. Cuban officials allege that those on board had a criminal past and were trying to terrorize the island country. Ted Lindner reports on the very latest developments.
Officials in Cuba confirming talks with the United States regarding ongoing investigations into Wednesday's boat shooting.
The Cuban government is willing to exchange information with the U.S. government on this matter.
According to Cuban government authorities, a Florida-registered boat carrying 10 people began firing at troops off the northeast coast of the island. Soldiers exchanged gunfire, killing at least 4 passengers and injuring 6 others. Foreign officials say those on board were Cubans living in the U.S., accusing them of trying to come ashore to engage in terrorism. Cuba's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs says items taken from the boat include assault and sniper rifles, Molotov cocktails, night vision equipment, bulletproof vests, and more. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the embassy in Havana is working to gather more information.
We have various different elements of the U.S. government that are trying to verify elements of the story based on what's been provided to us now.
But according to a U.S. official, at least 2 people on board the craft were American citizens, one of which has been killed and the other hurt. A third person was on a K-1 visa to enter the U.S. to marry a U.S. citizen. The boat's owner, meanwhile, claims the vessel used in the incident was stolen by an employee. The aftermath triggering varying responses from Cubans in Miami and Havana.
It's a new generation of people that are frustrated with the Cuban regime.
It was a violation of the sovereignty of the Cuban people. I suppose things will get more tense. We'll see what happens.
Florida lawmakers are proceeding with caution.
I don't trust Cuba.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
$30 minutes or less. Call now.
All right. FedEx is pledging to return any tariff costs charged to customers. And this comes days after the company filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government. The delivery company is demanding the Trump administration offer refunds of all payments made under certain tariff policies that the Supreme Court just ruled illegal last week. Refunds, though, could take up to years to go through. Meantime, Walmart agrees to a $100 million settlement over claims that it misled delivery drivers about their pay. The FTC claimed that Walmart showed inflated tip amounts to drivers who were part of its Spark delivery service. The retailer was also accused of misleading customers into believing that 100% of their tips would go directly to the drivers. All right, we're taking a live look at the New York Stock Exchange right now. Right now, the Dow trading at just over 48.8. And on that note, it's time for the rest of our business headlines with CJ Papa.
Target says it will only carry cereals made without certified synthetic colors. It has worked with national brands and its partners, producing store brands to reformulate products where needed. It expects the change to be implemented by the end of May. Payments company Block cutting nearly half its workforce, or 4,000 workers. The layoffs not triggered by poor financial performance. CEO Jack Dorsey says a traditional workforce is not needed in the age of AI. Block is going all in on AI. Its own AI agent Goose is automating administrative tasks, and its Cash App digital service uses AI to lend faster. Remember the Great Resignation? People who quit their jobs because they could easily get a better deal somewhere else? Now we have the big stay, a job market that's gotten tight with employers hesitant to hire workers, but who want to hold on to as many members of their teams as they can. And Austin, Texas has been known as one of the most affordable rental cities, but the Wall Street Journal says it's now projected to be more expensive. Investors have been buying apartment buildings in the city, betting they'll be able to raise rents by early next year, if not sooner. People have been moving to Austin for jobs in tech, biomedical services, and government. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox Chicago.
Noon. Welcome back. It is a big day for fans of the popular Pokemon franchise. Today marks 30 years since the original Pokemon Red and Green games were released in Japan on February 27th of 1996. In California, collectors gathered at Frank & Son Collectible Show to celebrate this milestone. An avid Pokemon collector and owner of a card business says the franchise has united communities and has also become a very lucrative, in some cases, very lucrative investment.
I think it's just a game that brings everyone together. I mean, I see a lot of families. It's something to do. You know, I've seen kids starting to play, and they grow up, they have kids, they pass it on. It's something to do with their family. And just a sense of community. Like, everyone's really awesome. You get to meet amazing people playing.
Pokemon's creator says as a child, catching small creatures in the suburbs of Tokyo inspired him to create the hundreds of characters that make up the franchise today. A reality show favorite sets a reunion date, and a rap star takes on Broadway. Ashley Dvorkin has all of the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
He's being blackmailed. Forte and Cardin stir up trouble. Megan Thee Stallion takes the stage, and Conrad and crew revisit Laguna in the Hollywood Nation.
Thank you for calling Second Rate. This is Lauren.
The cast of Laguna Beach is reuniting. Laguna Beach, the reunion, premieres April 10th on the Roku channel, bringing back original stars including Lauren Conrad, Kristen Cavallari, and Stephen Colletti, more than 20 years after the MTV reality series debuted. The special will feature behind-the-scenes stories and a return to where it all began in Laguna Beach. Megan Thee Stallion is heading to Broadway. The Grammy winner will make her debut in Moulin Rouge, the musical, playing the club's owner, Zidler, starting March 24th for an 8-week run in New York City. She's the first female-identifying performer to take on the role in any production worldwide.
If you can make it here in Tanning, you can make it anywhere.
Will Forte and Darcy Cardin break out the SPF in today's first looks. Hulu released the trailer for Sunny Nights, a dark comedy starring the duo as siblings who launch a spray tan business in Sydney, Australia, only to find themselves entangled in the city's criminal underworld. The series premieres March 11th.
Think of this as a way to get revenge.
Ian McKellen and Michaela Cole take on art and deception in the trailer for Steven Soderbergh's The Christophers. McKellen stars as a reclusive former pop art icon who hasn't painted in decades. Cole plays an art restorer hired by his estranged children to finish his work in hopes of securing their inheritance. The film opens in theaters April 17th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Welcome back. Some breaking news to get to right now. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is headed to the Middle East as negotiations over Iran's nuclear program continue. The threat of U.S. military action hangs over these talks. So rapidly developing international situation here. Anita Blanton has our first Chicago Live interview of the afternoon. Anita, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you as well, Anthony. You know, there's been a massive and really increasing buildup of military assets there in the Middle East. And so there are so many questions as about what happens next. Harley Littman is a foreign policy expert and geopolitical analyst who I recently spoke to as we were starting to see this buildup. And Harley, now it's the second weekend that this has really loomed over a lot of other discourse. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has implemented this authorized departure to get people out of there on the government's dime. So do you think military action is imminent?
It seems very likely. And while no one wants war, and war is terrible, I applaud the courage of President Trump if indeed he takes military action. My biggest concern, though, is that if Iran is smart, they will agree to anything that Trump proposes and then just avoid it, deny it, hide things, because they've got this huge armada off their coast that's not going to stay there for very long. It's costing the U.S. government a huge amount of money, perhaps even billions of dollars a day. And without that armada, the United States really cannot attack Iran with great effectiveness. So if Iran is really looking out for their own self-interest, they should just agree to anything. But that would be a huge catastrophe for the United States, because clearly they're not going to honor it. So I hope President Trump recognizes that Iran is trying to play Trump, and they're just trying to kick the can down the road and not agree to anything meaningful that the United States needs for there to be peace in the region.
When you say kick the can down the road, President Trump said in his State of the Union address this week that Iran hasn't said the secret words, that they will never have a nuclear program. They still have not said that. So let's talk about the demands here. They want, the U.S. wants for Iran to destroy the rest of their nuclear sites, deliver the remaining uranium that they have, and to commit to a forever deal.
Right. And keep in mind, the Iranians are asking for token enrichment. But let me tell you what that means. So even if you enrich 4%, that gives Iran 70% of their path to a nuclear weapon. That's what people really have to understand. Also, that by 2030, Iran will have 30 to 60 ICBMs that could hit the United States, which are intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of carrying a nuclear warhead to the United States. So Iran will develop this and have this done while there's some debate. The range is between 5 and 8 years. They'll have that capacity. And they're debating whether the lowest number is 30, highest number is 60. Missiles that will carry them to the United States. That's a threat to America's existence. So if nothing else, this is the time. This is why kicking the can down the road is a great theme here, because every American president has wanted to change the regime in Iran since Jimmy Carter was embarrassed back when the Americans were taken as hostages. And every American president tends to pass it on to the next president, not taking the courageous decision to do what has to be done. So I am very hopeful that President Trump knows that he has to try to do what he can to hopefully topple this regime, because this is the only country in the world that every day for nearly years has called for the destruction of the United States. And I don't think we can take the risk that they don't mean it.
One of the reasons why none of the other presidents have been able to accomplish this mission is because of how complicated it gets with the relationship around the region. Can you kind of talk about that, like the regional priorities here?
Sure. Yeah, the region's worried. Obviously, they're next door to Iran, and Iran has medium-range missiles that could hit them. And Iran has said that if any country helps the United States in any way, we're going to attack you. So countries that border Iran or are very close are obviously worried. Israel most of all. clearly, once the United States attacks Israel, if they do, Iran could reach Israel, and they will attack Israel. So Israel will get the brunt of their reaction. But this goes with the territory. Taking out the regime in Iran is good for our allies, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other nations in the region. And Israel just has to accept that responsibility. But this is going to be good for the long term, because if you look at all the wars in the Middle East in the last nearly 50 years, they've all been funded, fueled, and supported by Iran. So this gives the best chance to have real peace if you cut off the head of the snake, as the expression goes.
It is a tense situation indeed. Harley, thank you so much for speaking with me yet again. We'll see if we have to pull you in for week 3, but thank you. Everybody, today on Chicago Live, we have plenty of other conversations to come. We're going to talk with the Citizens Action Illinois about a measure that would advance regulating statewide prescription drug prices. We're going to talk with the travel expert about Southwest Airlines' new assigned seating and how that's going, and also a really important conversation with a representative from Meta who's going to talk about some new parental controls online. So there's a lot to get to between 1 and 4 p.m. Certainly hope that you'll join us online between 1 and 4 on YouTube, fox32chicago.com, and on the Fox Local app. We're going to take a break here. Anthony's going to be back. I'll see everybody online at 1.
Chicago. Welcome back. Burger King is using AI to boost hospitality. A new assistant, Patty, as it is known, listens through workers' headsets, tracking friendliness and use of phrases like please and thank you. It's live in 500 U.S. locations, but critics warn it could feel like constant surveillance. You've been warned. Okay, an airport's playful pajama ban. Caitlin, I know we talked about this on Chicago Now. It sparks a wave of online controversy. Tampa International Airport in Florida posted to social media yesterday saying that it had, quote, seen enough of the madness of airport pajamas and that it, quote, stops today. Now, while some travelers were amused and happy with that decision, many were not and criticized that post. The airport has since clarified, saying that the highly controversial post was a joke, adding that they often upload lighthearted and satirical content to social media. I know, Caitlin, that got us talking.
Yeah.
And we had to kind of mend fences during a commercial break because you and I are on completely opposite sides of this issue.
Anthony wants you to wear a full-blown suit to the airport.
Caitlin wants you to be like, you know, in shower sandals and PJs.
Amen. Amen.
Wow.
No, athleisure is fine. All those shots that we just showed you were perfectly acceptable. Okay, let's talk about the forecast. Today, it is lovely. Happy Friday. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s to mid-60s. We have gusty winds, though. Gusty winds to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, a high of only 35 with the chance for some snow, especially north of the city.